Fence spends precious energy, a cost wild mothers must pay without knowing when the next danger will arrive. Rest never means surrendering awareness. Within the mob, many mothers sleep lightly while other eyes remain open to the dark.
Small injuries must be cleaned, and Bud's familiar scent renewed, because health and recognition are both parts of maternal care.
Inside my pouch, different teats can provide milk of different composition, changing with the developmental needs of each young kangaroo.
Wallabies, grey kangaroos, and red kangaroos differ in size and habitat, yet every mother relies on. With each safer day, Bud's world expands beyond my pouch, and the open country begins to feel less like a mystery. Food is everywhere, but nourishment is selective, and Bud learns which plants repay the energy required to gather them.
When heat rises, I lick my forearms, allowing evaporation above shallow blood vessels to help cool the blood returning through my body.
Speed can save us from a hunter, but under the midday sun, survival often depends upon knowing when not to move.
Rest protects our energy, but even in shade, my ears continue searching the landscape while Bud's young body grows.
Bud's fear reacts faster than understanding, but by watching my response, she begins separating ordinary sounds from genuine danger.
Hello, South American uncle with a friendly demeanor wearing a comfortable sweater. I am sending the next part from scene 151 to scene 200, which has been technically standardized and filtered for VO 3.
Even a passing cloud can offer relief, and I use these small changes to move Bud without wasting the water within us. At slow speed, my tail becomes a powerful fifth limb, supporting each step while my hind legs move forward together. Every obstacle becomes practice, and each small failure teaches Bud to measure distance before committing the power of her legs. Play strengthens Bud's body and sharpens coordination, but it also teaches her when to accelerate, when to yield, and when to stop. Our relatives solve movement differently. Wallabies turn through dense cover, while tree kangaroos carry the family gift of powerful limbs into the canopy. Some dangers do not chase us. An eastern brown snake can remain nearly invisible until one careless step enters its striking range. The snake is defending its space, not hunting us, but its venom makes one mistake potentially fatal for Bud. We leave without victory and without injury, because the wisest encounter with venom is the one that ends before either life must strike. Bud cannot identify every hidden danger yet, but she can learn to choose open ground and trust the path I have tested. Independence begins in small distances, far enough for Bud to choose for herself, yet close enough for my protection to reach her. Experience is beginning to shape her instincts. Bud now checks the banks before drinking, remembering that water attracts more than thirst. Pouch remains available, but Bud increasingly chooses the ground beside me, exchanging complete shelter for the skills freedom requires. An introduced red fox moves through the fading light, small enough to avoid me, yet dangerous to a young kangaroo beyond my reach. The wind reaches me before the hunter does, and one warning sends Bud toward the only refuge still strong enough to defend her. The fox survives by searching for opportunity, but tonight, Bud's quick response and my strength have closed the only opening it found.
Bud carries no wound, but the encounter has left something permanent, a faster response to my warning and a clearer understanding of danger.
The mob is not a tightly governed family, yet its many ears and noses create a wider circle of warning around the young.
At first light, hundreds of bodies rise together, and Bud begins another day surrounded.
One lesson has become her own. Bud now recognizes valuable grass without waiting for me to choose the first mouthful. This time, Bud does not freeze or flee in confusion. She finds me first.
The alarm belongs to passing emus, but Bud loses nothing by responding, because caution is tested by every sound, not only by genuine attacks.
Red kangaroos can cover open country with extraordinary efficiency, storing and releasing energy through powerful tendons at every bound. Eastern grey kangaroos favour cooler, wetter country, while red kangaroos are built to travel farther across the open and unpredictable interior. Bud's independence grows without breaking our bond. She explores farther, yet my position remains the fixed point by which she measures safety.
Leaving the pouch does not end dependence immediately. Bud may continue nursing long after her legs begin carrying her confidently beside me.
Adult males may grow far larger than females, competing for mating opportunities, yet they take no regular role in nursing or raising the young.
Other females may tolerate Bud and add their vigilance to mine, but her milk, protection, and strongest bond still come from her own mother.
Learning does not mean copying every movement. Bud is beginning to judge her own smaller body and choose the crossing that fits her strength. Not every carnivore seeks a kangaroo, but curiosity can place Bud too close to claws, teeth, or defensive strength meant for another purpose. The monitor follows its own opportunity, and we survive by recognizing when another animal's hunger has nothing to do with us. Bud's senses are joining mine. She no longer waits for my body to move before asking what the darkness may contain. Cool darkness reduces the cost of movement, allowing us to feed while losing less moisture to the heat of the Australian day. Smoke reaches my senses before fire reaches the ridge, giving me a narrow gift of time to choose a safer direction for Bud. Running blindly with the wind could carry us toward the fire, so I angle across it toward country with less fuel to burn. Fire redraws the landscape by the second, and the path that was safe moments ago can close before Bud reaches it. Bare stone offers no food, yet for this moment its emptiness becomes our protection, denying the fire the fuel it needs. Bud has crossed her second great trial of weather without injury, protected by timing, open ground, and a mother unwilling to leave her behind. Fire destroys cover and food, but its uneven passage also creates new edges where life will return, beginning with insects, shoots, and rain. A narrow ribbon of moisture preserves food after the flames, and Bud recognizes it not only as refuge, but as a place requiring vigilance.
For the first time, Bud chooses the safe direction before I move, and I follow the daughter whose instincts are beginning to belong to her. Independence does not arrive in a single leap. It grows each time Bud makes a sound decision, while I remain close enough to correct the next one.
Bud now approaches water with a sequence learned through danger. Stop, listen, inspect the banks, and only then lower her head.
Fire has opened sunlight to the soil, and the first tender growth offers more protein than the older grass surrounding it.
Running with other young kangaroos strengthens more than muscle. Bud learns to judge moving bodies while preserving her own escape line. Exploration takes Bud outward, but recognition brings her back, preserving the bond while allowing her confidence to expand. A male may test my scent and follow, but courtship depends upon timing, condition, and whether I permit him to remain near. Red kangaroos do not form lifelong pairs. Dominant males may mate with several females, while mothers carry nearly all responsibility for the young. Milk still supports Bud, but each feeding grows shorter as grass assumes more of the work that my body once performed alone. Bud no longer waits for every decision. Hunger, memory, and the morning wind now guide choices that once belonged entirely to me. She sacrifices the shortest path for the clearest view, a choice that costs several steps but may preserve every year ahead of her.
The crowd offers Bud information from hundreds of eyes, but its safety depends upon every individual noticing what the others cannot.
Bud now reads the bodies around her, finding warning in 100 lifted heads before the first foot strikes the earth. 2 dingoes divide the mob's attention, searching not for its strongest members, but for one young animal separated by confusion. They try to divide my attention, so I refuse pursuit and keep Bud, both hunters and the returning mob within a single field of danger. Together, the mob changes the calculation. 2 hunters withdraw when the chance of injury becomes greater than the promise of food. Bud remains uninjured, but every escape strengthens the habits that must protect her when my body is no longer standing between her and danger. The finest protection I can give Bud is not endless rescue, but a response that continues correctly when I do nothing. Weaning is gradual rather than sudden. As my milk becomes less available, Bud's growing digestive system. Like other grazing macropods, we rely upon microbes within a chambered stomach to release energy from plant fibers our bodies cannot digest alone. Within a crowd of similar bodies, Bud recognizes me through scent, voice, movement, and memory, a bond more precise than appearance alone. A false alarm still exercises the body, and Bud's faster acceleration shows how thoroughly repeated danger has trained her reflexes. What began as imitation has become Bud's own response to heat, reducing the strain of exercise beneath the rising sun.
Bud's juvenile body is approaching independence. Yet
For longer periods, Bud now moves with others instead of following my shadow, rehearsing the social freedom that adulthood will demand.
She still looks back, and I still watch. But the space between us is no longer emptiness. Bud now spends more of each day beyond my reach, carrying the lessons of our shared journey into decisions that belong entirely to her.
Separation is not abandonment. It is the result for which every warning, every rescue, and every patient lesson has prepared her. The final nursing visits become brief and irregular as Bud's body completes the transition from my milk to the energy stored within grass.
Her speed, balance, and judgment now carry her beyond every distance at which I once rushed forward to protect her.
There is no ceremony when a daughter becomes independent. One day, our paths simply remain apart longer than they did before. My work is not measured by how tightly Bud remains beside me, but by how confidently she survives when distance separates us. As Bud's dependence ends, a developmental signal can release the embryo that has remained suspended within my uterus.
Once development resumes, pregnancy lasts only about a month, and my outward shape changes little because the newborn will be astonishingly small. As birth approaches, I clean the pouch and remain alert, preparing the protected chamber.
There is no long human-like labor. Instinct directs me to prepare the path between birth and the pouch before the newborn emerges.
I cannot carry the newborn to safety. Using scent, touch, and powerful forelimbs, it must complete the climb alone.
Inside, the newborn attaches firmly to a teat, where milk and the pouch environment will complete development that pregnancy only began. The newborn is secure but entirely dependent, so every journey, feeding choice, and escape I make now carries another life once again. Bud returns as an independent daughter while a new life develops unseen, placing 2 generations at different distances from my care.
The mammary system can support 2 developmental stages, producing different milk for the hidden newborn and the older young at foot.
One daughter now feeds herself beneath the open sky, while another remains hidden, blind.
Hidden from the world, my second daughter begins her long transformation. For our story, I will call this tiny new life Bloom.
During her first hidden weeks, Bloom's lungs, eyes, ears, and hind limbs continue to... The pouch protects Bloom, but it is not sealed from the world, so regular grooming helps maintain the clean environment her vulnerable body needs. Bloom experiences movement before she can see the landscape, carried through every bound, while Bud now crosses the same country on her own legs. Because Bloom cannot regulate the outside world for herself, my choices of shade, movement, and rest determine the temperature surrounding her. With Bloom unable to escape independently, every uncertain movement near water requires me to treat surprise as danger until the landscape proves otherwise.
Of hidden growth have covered Bloom with fine fur, shaped her ears, and strengthened the legs that were scarcely formed at birth. Before Bloom can explore the world with her eyes, scent and sound begin carrying fragments of it through the pouch opening.
At last, Bloom opens her eyes upon the country Bud has had the already...
For days, Bloom's world remains bounded by what she can see from the opening, watching the mob and learning the signals of danger.
Tasting grass while rooted in the safety of the pouch is her first small step toward independent nourishment.
Instinct needs no instruction. At the first warning sound, Bloom withdraws into the darkness she knows best. Weeks later, Bloom reaches the moment Bud crossed before her, stepping out of the pouch to stand upon the earth.
Uncertain ankles and an unpracticed tail make her first steps hesitant, but balance arrives through trial and movement. She watches my feet and imitates the rhythm, discovering how paired hind legs and a heavy tail work together. Curiosity pulls her outward, but every unfamiliar sight sends her back to the anchor of my presence. For now, the pouch remains an open refuge, welcoming her back whenever the wide world becomes overwhelming.
Day by day, Bloom spends longer hours outside, building the strength and habits that survival demands. By watching what I choose, Bloom learns which plants offer nourishment and which should be left behind. As temperature rises, reading the landscape for shade becomes as vital as finding water or grass.
She copies my cooling habits, learning to manage her own body heat before the full force of summer arrives.
Her fear reacts instantly, but my calm response teaches her to measure noise before fleeing in panic.
Her legs are growing longer, her bounds smoother, and speed is becoming a tool she can command.
Playing with others sharpens her reflexes and teaches her to navigate a moving crowd without losing balance.
Every adventure takes her outward, but recognition brings her home, reinforcing the bond that protects her.
Shadows bring quiet hunters, and a lone fox searches for a young life separated from its mother. The warning reaches Bloom before the hunter can close the gap, driving her towards safety. Undecisive defense convinces the hunter that this young life is far too dangerous to pursue. Bloom is unhurt, and the encounter leaves her with a sharper instinct for the dangers darkness can hold. Within the mob, resting mothers share vigilance, creating a wider net of safety around our young. She now sleeps beside me under the stars, trading the pouch for the broader protection of the herd. Sunrise brings another day of learning, surrounded by the ancient rhythm that has sustained our kind for generations.
Bloom now recognizes nutritious grass on her own, proving that experience is taking root within her.
When alarm sounds, she no longer runs blindly. She finds my side first, using judgment instead of fear. The disturbance was harmless, but Bloom loses nothing by responding, because caution is refined through every test.
Her bounds grow longer and more effortless, storing and releasing energy through tendons built for speed.
The vast interior lies before her, and Bloom is learning to read its water, shade, and hazards as one connected world. She grazes with